Hello everybody and welcome back to TPK Roleplay. You're tired of probably seeing me at very least, but we're here to kick off the designated month of spookiness. So we're kicking things off with Memento Mori, which is going to be the one shot that we're running tonight. We're actually using two different systems for this campaign. We're using Enter the Survival Horror for our base system by Adam Bucceri, and then we also have Locomotive as an overlay written by our very own SirHeckaLot here. Where does a ghost go on vacation? Malibu,
Oh my
I
god.
hate.
Cool.
Why are you interrupting my intro with these dad jokes? Answer for your crimes. Anyway. But before we get too far into things, as a note that this campaign is going to be this game is going to be touching on some sensitive topics such as death, war, loss of loved ones, things of that nature. So if this is something that makes you uncomfortable, then I highly recommend maybe stepping out. We do have some safety things in place for our players here. If something comes up, we will end up taking an intermission just to do a check-in. Unfortunately, we can't make that call for you guys. So everybody who's watching, if something comes up that you're not very comfortable with, step away for a few minutes. We should have closed the scene by then. Or we're not going to hold it personal if you guys just end up leaving the stream. We're fine with that. We'd rather you be safe on your terms. But before we get too much further, we can't dive into things without knowing who our cast members are, so let's go ahead and start it off in that top left corner.
Alright, it's me. Hey guys, me, SirHeckaLot. I will be playing Estrella tonight, and I cannot wait to see how this is kind of a playtest of sorts of Locomotive and how it interacts with the other games as an overlay. So I'm super excited to see how it works, or maybe doesn't work. We'll see. But let's keep on keeping on over to Foxy.
Forgive me, just making puns in Twitch chat. Anyway, what's going on, folks? It's Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your current and only favorite fox. Tonight, I'll be playing Amir bin Asal. Super excited to have a dope time. We got an awesome cast and a super great GM. Cannot wait to have a super dope time. So let's do it.
Hey y'all, I am Legendary Vermin, and tonight I'm going to be playing Kinsey Rose for y'all. Just delighted to be back. 3 in a row. Let's go.
We're on a hot streak, and that rounds it out to me. Everybody send some love to Rowan in the chat, by the way, who unfortunately was not able to be here with us tonight. But it's okay. We love you. We want you to feel better. But that leaves it with me. I'm going to be your game master / game mother / conductor for the evening, however you wish to refer to me. But we've got the introductions out of the way, so why don't we go ahead and roll right into things. So we find ourselves in the midst of a dark, eerie night. Each of you stumbles through a door, breathless, desperate for safety, seclusion, someplace to just get away. This house, you know it. The grand foyer, the halls, the rooms dripping with dark woods and drowning blues. You can't help the thought in the back of your minds, wondering if this is how you remember it looking. But nevertheless, you know you're meant to be here. Somewhere, there's a pendulum clock. You can almost feel the reverberation in your very soul as it rings out, echoing through the halls. The ticking that follows, no matter where you go, it's the same. You're painfully aware of how loud it is, pounding in your ears. The ticking is what stirs you forward. And as you guys start to move through this house, wherever it is that maybe that you start, there's a pattering of footsteps, running around. It sounds like children, people talking, though you can't quite hear what they're saying. As you move around, there's construction equipment littering everywhere. Woods, restoration equipment, everything as such. But at this point, I guess we should find out where you guys actually are. So who wants to take it away?
I think the first place I'd find myself is probably in the lower levels, trying to make sense of whatever I could. I don't know why, but I don't like the idea of there being people here. It makes me nervous, so I'll try to step around them for a bit, just see what I can creep about the halls. I don't know why, but I want to stay low while I'm in here.
Try as you might, you can't actually find anybody. All you hear is the movement and the talking.
It's very strange. I don't think I should be alone here, but where does it sound like it's coming from?
Mostly the main area of the house. The foyer, where what you remember being as the living space. Kitchen's not that far away, the living room, study, all of that. It's all relatively in the same area.
Don't know why I feel pensive about it, but I suppose I'll head there for now. Just keep my head low.
Okay. Where do we find Kinsey?
So Kinsey starts and in the second floor of the house near the stairs, in a big room that faces west. And the wallpaper in the room has kind of faded pastel animals on it. And as she hears the sound of feet and the sound of children, she kind of like that comes more to herself and gets ready to call out a name that had never been chosen. And she catches herself doing that and tries to remember whose name it was and who that person was to her. And I think she'll go sort of out of this room and kind of look out over the stairs.
Okay, then where are we starting with Estrella?
So she would also be on one of the higher floors, though facing outward from a balcony. As these voices kind of take her attention away from the strange sense of vertigo she has for a second. She looks into the room. It looks like it was some type of bedroom at some point. It's strange. It looks in better condition than she remembers it, though. She's not used to hearing voices, so she's confused and is going to walk through this room and open the door out to the series of hallways to hopefully figure out what's going on with that.
So you move through the hallways and you still hear that patter, and much like Amir couldn't, you can't really find the people who seem to be making that noise, although on that second floor you do meet another face, someone that you feel tied to, standing overlooking the main floor. This is where you and Kinsey meet. You're both very much aware of each other. You can tell just looking at each other we're solid. We are here together.
What does Kinsey see as she looks over at Estrella?
So she sees probably about a college student age girl, like early college, of 19, 20 or so, with a kind of beat up leather jacket, pretty like athletic-ish looking clothes, something that would be like easy to move around in, and just with kind of confused look on her face when she sees you, um, and kind of turns her head. Hey, are you one of the people making noise here?
No. I heard it too, though. And Kinsey is like tall, wearing sort of like baggy clothes. She's covered in like a mix of like paint and grease, and it's on her sleeves and her face, and a little bit like in her hair, like she had been painting or like working on something really, really big. I don't remember how I got here.
See, I remember how I got here. I just walked in, but I'm pretty sure I was alone. I guess not now.
That's funny. I thought I was with people.
Name's Estrella.
I'm Kinsey.
Nice to meet you.
And as you guys are kind of settling into this new idea and have exchanged names a little bit about where you've come from, you see Amir starting to make his way across the main part of the lower floor on across that grand foyer. At this point, you can see him, and he as well can see you.
Amir immediately freezes and looks back like he wants to run back down the hallway to not be seen anymore.
Yeah, what do we see?
He's a decently, not tall, but lanky boy in just hazel bronze skin. The one most notable feature is a very large, rugged scar across his face, right under his sort of right orbital. His eyes are a very, very light kind of blue. His clothing is rugged and definitely kind of anachronistic, but most notable is the sort of very, very large, thick scarf around most of his head and shoulders.
Hey, wait. We're not gonna hurt you. We're confused. Does he stop? The stray will start going down the stairs.
I mean, he's spotted, so he'll stop. Just, who are you?
My name's Estrella. What's yours?
I'm Amir. And your friend?
Kinsey.
Why are we here?
I mean, I come here pretty regularly just to hang out. Why are y'all here?
This place was different. I was hiding. We were waiting, and I don't remember much else.
This is where I live.
And as you start moving around trying to piece things together. Kinsey, go ahead and roll me a... Let's start with a d6.
46.
Yes,
Coming
please.
right up. That's a 1.
Okay, so... as you start to talk and try to establish things about what's going on, you know that this is where you live, but everything around you all starts to change. In a quick shift, you're all standing there, right where you were, but everything around you is shifted. Things are more warm tones, lots of reds. The wallpaper's got floral patterns. It seems like everything is almost new, freshly put together. And the children, the people that you'd originally heard talking and the movement that you'd heard before, it's silent. It's almost... that's all gone. It's replaced by a different set of voices, that sound older, and it's very distinctly not what any of you remember from how you speak to one another. It's formal. Like a bit further down, you can hear a man giving somebody directions in the kitchen, instructing them. Alright, I need all of this to be prepared. Tonight we will be having a formal dinner with the lady of the house. She's got her guests and a suitor coming tonight. So of course, everything has to be tip-top shape. Everything has to be perfect. We don't want to embarrass Our Lady. And there's a chorus of people chiming in that they understand, and you see people start moving through the house, getting things ready. A couple of maids walk through the foyer, and one of them very distinctly notices you, Amir, and goes sheet white.
Are you okay?
Her companion walking alongside her looks between her and where you would be, although it seems like she's looking through you, and asks the same question. Are you okay? What's going on? Are you feeling well? And the original girl that had seen you very quickly looks away and says, No, it's nothing. I'm fine.
Sorry, I think we're a little bit lost.
She glances up at the sound of your voice and, again, paling. But actually turns away. Doesn't acknowledge the question, doesn't try to respond to either of you.
Can they see us?
And Kinsey's going to reach out a hand and try to grab either of them by the shoulder. Gently, but
So you're making your way... Have you made your way downstairs at this point then?
Yeah. I kind of imagined myself coming down the stairs, like slowly after Estrella.
You reach out and touch both of these women on presumably the shoulders and their back. Um, they both jump. The woman who had seen you looks back and looks very panicked, and her companion much the same, although she's looking around a bit more wildly, trying to figure out what that was. And she looks at the first woman and says, and asks, Nancy, did you feel something just then? Nancy, the woman who had seen you all says, no, yes, actually, I did, but it's probably just a draft or something, us spooking ourselves. It's a very big house. It's easy to hear, see, feel things, you know? And the other woman gives Nancy a very strange look. Like, I suppose you're right. Let's come along. We have some cleaning to do. You go speak with the lady of the house and get her prepared. And I will go make sure that the dining room is set up. And they part ways. Nancy starts to head upstairs.
As she passes, I mean, she already saw or Estrella already saw the reaction to what Kinsey said, but kind of a growing sense of just bewilderment and maybe like a little disbelief. Ma'am, I think there's some confusion here. Can you point us over to State University? It's just a little ways down from here.
Nancy kind of keeps walking and glances up to you and says, I don't know what you're referring to. There's no teaching institute around here.
That's not possible. I went there.
I'm not sure what either of you mean. There was a small school in the village, but nothing more.
There's nothing but woods here for miles. I think you all might be a lot more lost than you think you are.
Yes. And if it's not too crazy for me to ask, where are we?
This is House Beaumont.
I've never heard of that place.
And I haven't seen clothes like yours. And you notice that the regalia that she herself is wearing is very dated. It's got large puffed shoulders and a trail going down the back of the skirt. It seems almost stifling with how much fabric she is wearing. And she starts moving along very quickly and keeping her head down as you pass yet more what appear to be staff members who, again, much like the other woman, don't pay you any mind.
What is happening?
I do not know. I try to remember where or when I'm supposed to be, and all I hear is gunfire.
Foxy, can you make me a d6 roll, please?
3.
You mentioned gunfire, and you all are immediately sucked out of this moment back in time to something that seems a little bit more recent. There is gunfire echoing around you, and shouting and explosions. Somebody very distinctly calls out, "Amir, get down! Get to cover!"
Yeah, I think he just immediately hits a wall and just like covers his head.
What are you doing standing out in the open like that?
I'm sorry. Is everyone here?
Not everyone, no.
No, don't play. Is she here? Where is she?
She's in the house.
I can't leave until I get her. I have to get her first. We can leave. I promise we can leave. I have to get her first.
And he looks around and just, okay, I can try to cover you as best as I can.
Amir kind of panically looks up at the two of you and then shoots his eyes up towards other parts of the house as if he immediately wants to go running that way.
Kinsey is very much in shock. I don't think she's ever heard this much gunfire. And when you kind of flattened yourself against the wall, she kind of like had like fallen and like backed herself up against the railing of the staircase.
Yeah, I mean, Australia would have like found whatever cover first gunshot. God, what is happening? Who is that? We can walk and talk, but what the fuck is happening?
It's the coalition, and they'll be here before long.
What? And it looks like Kinsey's really trying hard to remember something. That was ages ago. And I think like there's a moment where like a smattering of bullets comes through like a window or like a wall, and there's suddenly light coming in from outside, and there's a moment there where she's like recognizes it now that there's something wrong. So that's how that happened. This is before when I was here.
You're all from future? Ages? What year do you think it is? Amir says as in like another bullet like flings by you, kind of like ducks down his head a bit.
What do you mean? It's 2004.
What?
What?
How do they teach time in your universities? It's the 1960s at the latest.
It's 1989.
I can't do this. I have to get her. You all can stay here or come with me. I don't care, but I have to get her right now. I have to get her before they get here.
I'll follow you.
Sure. Who's her?
I don't know. I know I can't leave until I get her from here. I can't leave here until I get her. I won't leave here no matter what until I see her again. So yeah, I think he turns and you'll see him like dig into his scarf and pull out. It's like a small kind of like very very battered bronze chain, but at the end of it is the cleared clean brass of a 7.62 round. And he just kisses it. And just, watch me, brother. And he'll turn and just start dashing up the stairs as like bullets start like flying by. An explosion rocks the house a bit, so he trips a bit, but he just keeps running.
Estrella will follow.
Yeah, Kenzie's at Estrella's heels.
You guys start racing through the halls, climbing to the second floor. Amir, you're desperately searching rooms, ducking, looking through the open doorways, and trying not to take gunfire. Then you get to the end of the hall, and a closed door. Are you the first one to open it?
I think he has to be, yeah.
The door opens, and Estrella, I need you to make me a d6 roll.
Okay.
As a note for our viewers as well as you all, if there's a point that you guys are really into this RP, a part of Locomotive is that players can designate when to give a identifier called a vestige to a player. And vestiges are pretty much used as points that will get you to your last stop. What that entails is different for everybody. But if there's a point that you guys want to stop and say, I would like to award somebody a vestige and come to term and talk about that and agree with it, then I very much encourage you to just break scene and do so.
Can we retroactively say that Foxy's necklace is a vestige, the one that Amir pulled out of the scarf?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Haha, vested.
So what happens? What do?
What did you roll, Heck?
I rolled a 1.
You open the door and you find yourself in what appears to be a very grand bedroom. You see Nancy once again, tending to what you can assume is the lady of the house, helping her get dressed and doing her hair for the evening. She glances up and catches your reflections in the mirror in the doorway and then immediately ducks her head back down.
Kinsey's gonna slam the door shut behind as she's the third person through, like breathing heavily.
I think Amir just immediately throws his eyes around, pretty certain that this is not the way this room is supposed to look. It's a lot more bomb ruined the last time he was in it. So he's just, where? But for some reason, something about that lady at the house is just the glimpse he caught of her just looks not familiar. Just, I don't know, there's an air about it.
The door slams and both women jump and look back towards the doorway. Nancy is once again looking you all down, and the lady at the house is just like, what in the world was that? And Nancy just continuing with the same thing that she had told her coworker earlier. It was probably just a draft from the open window, and you guys can see the glass panes from the balcony moving along with the curtain in the wind. And the lady of the house just sighs and says, you say that every time something goes bump in this house.
What just happened to us?
We're back here now. We were at the bottom of the stairs. It looked like this, and then that gunfire stuff happened.
Nancy, what is happening to us? I know you can hear me.
Or see us. Please?
Please.
Nancy, requests a moment to address something. She tells the lady in waiting that the lady of the house, Lady Belmont, that she's going to retrieve some fresh towels and water for her, and that she'll be back in a moment. And she looks very pointedly at all of you, and then in this instance, for some reason, when you touched her before, you were very solid. She passes right through you to open the door and steps out into the hall, glancing at all of you, almost to indicate that you should follow.
We do, I think.
Are we?
Are we what?
In the village, a storyteller would talk about people who flitted between images in starlight and shadow. Those who were left behind. Are we dead?
Oh, there's no way, right? Like, no. No.
We should follow her. I think we'll get answers soon.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm sorry if I scared either of you. I don't know why I ran like that. I remember being in that house for so long, waiting amidst all the gunfire and the bombing. But I knew I said I wouldn't leave unless I found her. Did I ever find her? Sorry.
No apology needed, except for maybe the gunfire, but that wasn't really your fault. So never mind.
So you guys follow Nancy as she makes her way down the hall. And she turns into what you can tell is a storage closet. Do you turn the corner and follow her in?
I think we pause for a second because last time we went through a door, shit got wild. So I think Amir was like,
I don't think Kinsey is stopping to think about that.
Yes, no, yeah, Astrid is definitely not.
Amir's just like, no, okay.
Kinsey.
You have the foresight, we don't.
Kinsey, roll me a d6.
3.
This is why I say we don't go through doors, guys.
Fuck.
You
gotta break doors to make doors. Am I right?
You know what?
You walk into what is actually very similar to what you'd seen Nancy walking into, although Nancy is very much not there, and it's not nearly as well stocked. Seems like there's a ragtag collection of fraying linens and mediocre medical supplies, what little you could get your hands on.
Me, myself?
You feel like, and you can hear them down the hall. A voice, it's an older woman, calling out, Kinsey, did you get the linens?
No, they're right here. I'll be there in a second.
Who's that?
Where did Nancy? Yo, what the fuck is happening?
I sense we've moved through whatever this is yet again. Where before we perhaps visited my space, mayhap now we are in Kinsey's.
And Kinsey, like, almost like wanting to think about things harder, but almost like compelled and just like swept into the moment, grabs the linens and like goes back out the door, and to where she heard the voice coming from.
Yeah, I think Amir will just quietly follow behind her.
Same.
I got them.
Good. You know how these little ones get. Let's hurry up and get them dry so that they can go make a mess of themselves again. And you move to this space, and it's, again, quite different from before. It's boarded up, almost. There's paint, there's boards covering the windows, cloth filtering through, sunlight filtering through cloth, almost trying to keep people from peering into the house itself. But just enough sunlight so that you guys can make your way around without having too much trouble seeing where you're going. You hear down the hall, again, some laughter from this woman that you know is Margaret, and a couple of younger kids just laughing and splashing in water.
And I think Kinsey will kind of round the corner, and like lean to give Margaret a kiss on the cheek as she like brings the towels into the room. All right, y'all. It's time to dry off.
Mackenzie!
Nope. You've made enough of a mess of the bathroom. Come on. We gotta get you into your clothes.
And there's some groanings. It looks like it's a set of twins. Brown hair, hazel eyes. Kids from somebody who ended up leaving a while ago, trying to find work. But that was a few weeks now, and they haven't come back. They've just become another part of your family. And they grumble and fuss and wiggle as you try to dry them off and get them back in their clothes.
One of them tries to make a break down the hallway, and there's like a, no, you don't.
Absolutely. You've got one, and Margaret's trying to wrangle in the other.
There's just like a very like comfortable and easy glance between Kinsey and Margaret, as they're each drying off one of the kids and like suiting them up, and they've got like goofy little overalls, as messy and paint stained, coming out of the wash as Kinsey's own clothes.
You manage to get them to dry off, and both of you you and Margaret at the same time are pretty much just like, okay, ready, steady, go. And they both just tear off through the house.
Hellions are loose! Cry havoc!
You hear some delighted shrieking from the kids, and a couple of mixed responses throughout the house. A crotchety old man groans with disdain, and another cackles further down as they dart past him. You hear a tray rattle, like trying to pick something up to avoid being run over by these kids.
Corner! Yell corner!
Right! Corner! And somebody immediately runs smack into a wall. I'm okay!
So then, this was your home.
It's where I lived. And it was a home to me. But it wasn't my house.
A house is not required to have a home. For that, you just need family. A place to rest. A place to
Speaks
feel
truth.
safe.
That's what it was.
I'm glad you had that.
I'm sorry it couldn't be that for you. And she's like gone over to the overlook, and she has her hand resting on the banister, and she takes a moment and she just breathes in the smell of the place, of grease and paint and dust, the littlest scent of a fire and the split wood that was used to light it. And she looks down and there's dirt under her fingernails. And she like stands there, eyes closed. I hardly feel like I left, and I miss it so much.
Margaret steps up behind you as you're leaning over the banister and puts a arm around you, just rubbing her hand along the side of yours. And Sar, you okay? You've got that faraway look in your eyes again.
Yeah, just taking a moment to be grateful, you know? I love you.
And she smiles and gives you a... Never mind, McAfee. Leave us alone. I'm sorry. And she smiles and gives you a...
It be like that. It really do be like that. I understand.
So good.
Looking at it.
God
I held
damn
it so hard. I held it so hard.
I'm sorry, I just watched your reaction and it made me lose mine. Vermin, I have... The McAfee screen came up on the overlay.
That's
Because-
so funny.
Okay. Okay, let's fall back into the sea.
I got you. My fault.
She, Margaret smiles and gives you a deep kiss, and when she pulls away, kind of murmurs, "I love you too. I couldn't be more grateful to have you here with me."
Yeah. And I don't know if this is how it works, but Kinsey's gonna take like a moment to pause there. And then she's gonna try and like separate herself from it and look back at Amir and say, I think we have someone we need to look for.
Maybe. I think, yeah. But I guess since we're curious, we look over to Australia and just... Did you have anything here? Anyone?
Not. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. All I remember is really coming here alone.
Can you roll me a d6, please?
Oh boy.
I did it! I knew that would work!
Why did I roll another one? My God, this D6 is going to jail.
You're going to D6 jail.
It needs to go to D6 jail.
You don't charge your dice? Come on.
Listen,
You
The dice are low on batteries.
low on batteries. They don't have any spoons. Sorry. You once again find yourselves turning maybe to look down the hall, and it's that same rich red and fresh. Oh, what's the word for it? New, what you all would know as antiques, but they look brand new. And once again, you come across Nancy.
Hey, girl.
And she almost, she startles as almost you just seem to pop up right in front of her. Jesus! And you can tell that she actually seems a bit older. More wrinkles around her eyes, dark circles. Scared the daylights out of me. Then
sorry about that.
another
Nancy, real quick. I'm sorry. What year is it?
the year
Yes.
1802.
I was afraid you'd say that.
It happens a lot.
What happens a lot?
Lost souls, like you all.
So I was
What
right.
does that mean?
It means we're spirits. We're dead.
But how? I'm just a second ago, or a couple of these weird jumps ago, we were all just wandering around the house alone.
A few moments ago, I was in the middle of a war zone. And then I wasn't. Well, and then I was again. And I'm suddenly beginning to believe it's been a lot longer since this place has been a war zone than I believe. And if I'm right about that, not only are we all dead, I think some of us have been dead a while.
Kinsey just lets out an angry growl and punches one of the ornaments on top of one of like the bigger spokes on the banister.
You hit the spoke, and it actually leaves a lasting depression. You can tell that it has marred the wood. There's a crack through the hall, and once again, Nancy jumps in. She's not the only one. A couple of the staff that were in the foyer below look around as well, and notice Nancy standing in place in the foyer looking at you all, and you just kind of hear the pair of them mutter, "Oh, that again," and move on, whispering about this home ever since Lady Belmont left it. Seems like everything has gotten so much worse.
This makes sense, but I don't want it to make sense. Asura's kind of like looking at that depression now. Like, I've seen that before, and it just now happened. I want it to be right.
Make me another d6, please.
Okay. Oh, I almost picked the same one. We're not
No,
using that
not
D6
that one.
anymore. No
Cursed
fucking
dice.
vote.
Hey, while we're out of character, can I throw Vermin / Kinsey a vestige for that last scene because that was really fun and sweet.
Absolutely.
And I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do that in scene, but I didn't want to break the scene because it was really fun and sweet. I liked it a lot, so I'm gonna do that.
Big mood. It's like,
We can drop them maybe in our chat when we're thinking
Yes.
of them.
yeah,
Got it. Makes sense.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I rolled a 3.
A 3? Recent past. Okay. Well, I don't know why I said that out loud. I'm trying to stop doing that. But, yeah. So you guys can keep a note of that in the group chat. For our folks at home, we started with 10 vestiges split amongst the players and the GM. It was meant to include Rowan as well. So you guys have access to 10 vestiges that you can award at any point in time. And I've noted that with ticking down the allotted vestiges with our clock on this overlay. Don't mind the doom clock.
Ah.
Oh, I mean, we've
No.
only filled up half of it already, you know.
Oh.
Don't mind it at all, but you vocalize that you remember seeing this and how it just happened, and you're standing there once again, observing this depression for what feels like the first time. You've just come into this house.
This is what I'm used to it looking like.
Then we are in your memory now.
I guess so.
That appears to be the rule of this place. I think I'm starting to make some sense of it, but there's a pretty big piece I can't seem to gather. Why are we
Why?
all still here?
Why is this happening? What are we supposed to do?
Mayhap we just try and piece it together? We're in your memory now, Estrella, so let's begin with you. Do you remember why you came here?
Modest fellowship expands.
I mean,
So,
I come here a lot to hang out after classes and everything. It's quiet here and it's really run down, but it's peaceful. So I would come here and whenever I could, practice my dancing alone in peace. It's what I'm going to school for.
A dancer. That's amazing. You say they built a university in this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marvelous. I don't ever think I remembered thinking it could be anything more than just a wasteland. It's amazing what time can do. How long have I been dead?
Well, based on my year, pretty long time. I'm going to school for dance, not math, so I couldn't tell you. But
I never really learned math or went to school. Sorry, this is about you right now. Is there anything you can remember about this place? Anything that might matter to you? I have a thought, but I'd rather you express yourself first.
yeah, okay, so let's think this out a little bit, I guess. where we started. Before I saw you two, I was over here, and she just kind of like starts gesturing and like already like walking up the stairs to get to the bedroom at the with the balcony. Very wide balcony, pretty long. So there's a fair amount of space, and being able to see the very open sky above, underlined with the horizon of these tall trees that just kind of line the main road leading into the estate. I was here, and it makes sense. I practiced here, and she looks over to some of the like railing. It's wide railing enough to set things on, and finds her little like handheld kind of portable radio. It's, yeah, see, and very faintly, you can hear it playing some music. It's playing "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith. And see, I was here, and she is on that edge now, or not standing on it, but just like standing, like holding this radio, and looks down, just kind of backs up again. Just, sorry, I got that weird sense of vertigo again. I felt that for a second, but then I heard the voices that weren't you guys, but now that makes sense with everything happening. I started here. What does that mean?
I have a theory, if you don't mind. This is low-key my way of passing you a message. I think Amir would like tepidly reach for the radio, like looking at you the whole time to see if you're comfortable with it. Reach for like the volume, turn it up just a little bit, and just, if it might jog your memory, dance.
Yeah, maybe that'll work.
I'm just gonna step back and offer you the space.
She'll just kind of go through the steps that are very familiar to her. You can tell that there is some type of classical training that her university was likely trying to instill, but it's still kind of like, at least modern in the terms of early 2000s, kind of mixed in there with it. What does it mean? Why am I so dizzy?
What time of day is it?
I'll say it's about early sunset.
Cool.
Do you move back towards that ledge at any point during your dance?
We'll say yeah, potentially.
I think if at any point you get too close to it, almost instinctively, Amir would reach out to like try to grab you a bit. I think I might place part of my theory. Mayhap one of your dances here was your last?
I don't know. I've watched this 1,000 times. How could that be?
I'm not sure. I wish I could help.
Bannister had a couple of loose pegs. I don't ever remember fixing them, and that was my thing.
Which could have been decades before hers.
And Amir, I need you to make the next D6 roll for me, please.
I've been charging this one.
Charging that positive energy.
It's a 6. That's why you charge your dice, folks. It's a 6.
Alright, so we shift again. But before we dive into that scene, let's give our folks a few minutes to kind of process and get themselves together for what's to come.
Because what the fuck is happening?
Ah!
No one knows, not even me.
Love it.
But we will be back in a few minutes, guys, so hang tight. Hello, everybody. We are back again. But when we left for intermission, we had just made the roll for our next scene. We left off with Estrella and the others on the balcony, with the suggestion that Estrella dance to what was it? I don't want to miss a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And good choice. Perfect. And it's some theory crafting, trying to figure out and process what was going on here, but it's another voice that draws you all back in as you turn to face the bedroom behind you again. And it's an older woman with long curly hair. Looks like maybe she's in her 30s, in a long flowing dress. She's humming that song that you were just listening to on the little handheld radio. And you're looking around at the rest of the estate, and you left off in maybe fall, where everything was starting to change colors. It's very distinctly spring now. Everything is in bloom. And as you're looking into the bedroom, it's more how you recognize it, with the blues and the cooler colored woods. And this woman, after humming the song, she's got some long papers in her hand and turns to the other man in the room and asks, "John, can you look over these edits for me? It's really strange. I've got 2 or 3 here that just are all different places. It's like I'm finding rooms that aren't even in this house. So if you can just give them a look over for me and match them to the floor plan that we got originally." And John takes the papers and gives his wife a kiss and says, "Sure thing. I know you've been getting a lot of your headaches lately, and how are you doing anyway?" And she kind of rubs at her temple and says, "Oh, it's another one of those days, but I'm sure it'll pass soon." And as she turns to kind of leave the room, she actually turns in a way that faces you all on the balcony for a moment, and she, much like Nancy had a long time ago, back in 1802, has that same kind of recognition. Like, she can see you. And she knows that you're there.
Hello, ma'am?
She smiles at you all and gives a bit of a wave and looks at John and says, "You didn't tell me that we had guests over, especially on our balcony." And John looks between her and over at you guys and then back at her and says, "Dear, I think you might need to take your medication."
I'm gonna wager for a bit of flavor here. This woman also has a slight air of not quite familiarity to Amir, so he's a little bit shook right now. It's just, what's your name?
Please. Can you help us?
We're confused. We're lost.
And kind of scared, to be honest.
I don't think I'm the one that can help you all. You'll have to figure out how to help yourselves. I'm sorry. And John once again tries to reaffirm that she should go to the medicine cabinet in the kitchen. And she rubs her temple again and kind of steps away.
All right. So, if we've been in 1802, and in each of our own time periods, where are we now?
I think in the time after me, she was humming her song. So it's already happened.
So is this the future then? Or perhaps...
For all of us, I think so.
meaning we've been dead for even longer than we think?
You hear the sounds of a couple of children running up the hall and just bursting through the doorway. And you find yourselves remembering what you initially came into. And it strikes a chord of familiarity. The voices that you heard talking, the children running around.
And the ticking.
And very much the ticking. It grows ever more prominent, whereas it seemed almost after each time you guys walked through a doorway or ended up somewhere else, that pendulum rang. And it is becoming painfully aware how deep in your chest that ticking is.
Maybe if we can do something with that clock. It feels like we're almost out of time.
Or like we're moving towards it.
I just want more time.
I don't think I want to go. I can't leave here until I find her. I promised.
Let's get to the clock. Maybe we can reset it or something.
Kinsey is going to start frantically looking for the clock.
Do we head back to the foyer? I can hear the voices from where we came in. They sound familiar, at least. The children.
I think that's a good idea.
Can we all go together, please? And I think we'll hold out both of us.
I don't want to go alone. I don't think any of us should go alone.
Yeah. And I think Amir will hold out both of his hands, just hoping you'll both take them. Okay.
That sounds like a vestige to me.
It does sound like a vestige.
Same.
Hell, that sounds
what
like
I
two.
was gonna do.
Sounds like everybody gets a vestige.
Just circle. Yeah, we'll
Bring
do
it
a
around,
circle.
run it around the clock. Everybody takes them. Give them out.
I heard you all like vestiges. Here you fucking go.
Drop them. Okay then. Together. Start slowly walking towards the foyer, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
With hand in hand, you all consciously make the decision to step back out into the foyer, leaving this warm laughing family behind you, and you find yourself back in those halls that you originally were in before. And the familiarity is nostalgic, uncanny, as you follow this ticking, trying to find wherever this clock is. And you come across it. In the main foyer, there's a large, ornate grandfather clock with its dangling gold pendulum just slowly swinging back and forth, back and forth. It feels almost suffocating despite how light it is around you. But it's not the only thing there. Standing in front of the clock is a familiar lady-in-waiting and the head of house.
Ma'am? Can you see us?
The figures at the sound of you all approaching both turn to you, and you can pick out the very era, the one that you knew so well, with the large puffed sleeves and the long train. You recognize the curl of their hair and maybe even the line of their jaw, but there's no distinguishable features on their faces. It seems like they've almost been washed or corroded away.
What the fuck?
You find yourself even struggling to, despite that familiarity, remembering who these people even are.
We're being pulled away.
Is there anything in the hall that I can, like, touch or grab? Like a candlestick or a vase?
There is...
Conveniently placed crowbar.
There's actually a number of things. There's construction equipment. You can find that there's a crowbar laying nearby. It looks like they had been using it to open some crates. It looks like some antiquities that had been packed away. They were this family that resides in the house now was opening up, and you find amongst them, you can pick out that radio, pick out what looks to be a very familiar bullet on a chain. All mementos. You find the little band that you had even given to Margaret, all stacked in piles to be organized and filtered through.
Thieves.
Why is this here? I think Amir immediately goes for his neck. Where's his necklace?
You still have it.
What?
Kinsey's gonna grab the crowbar and turn and break the glass in front of the pendulum on the clock.
The glass shatters. By all accounts, you watch this clock stop moving, but the ticking doesn't stop.
What time did the clock stop on?
It stopped on 5:37. And from the filtering of the sunlight, you can tell that it's in the early evening.
If the ticking doesn't stop, Kinsey keeps hitting the clock.
You keep reaching out and trying to hit this clock, and this two figures desperately reach out to grab at you, trying to stop you. They are desperate for time to keep going. They claw at you and try to rip this crowbar out of your hands.
Then show us what we have to do to have more time, Ben.
I don't think we get any more time.
And what do we do? What comes next? And she's like trying to like plead at these faceless beings. Like, can you just show us, Ben? And you can't talk to us, please. Just help in some way.
The lady of the house, still struggling to pull that crowbar from Kinsey's hand, just does not want to seem to even acknowledge that something's wrong other than you are interfering. But the one wearing a more common fabric, something that you would see a servant girl wearing in an old vintage movie, is the one that turns to give you some indication, addressing you all, and you feel a familiar tug of sympathy from someone that you'd met, someone that you've crossed paths with a few times now. And she just points to each of you and to the items laying scattered about the room.
As I feared, it's time for us to be forgotten, to become remnants.
Can't be all that's left. And she like reaches out and grabs the ring and she thrusts it into this non-face. This can't be all that's left.
She now doesn't acknowledge much. She bows her head and returns to sit by the lady of the house in front of this pendulum clock, fixing her hair.
Nancy! Nancy!
She picks up as if there is some form of recognition. And It comes as a whisper around all of you. Obviously, she doesn't have a face. She can't speak. You just hear a whisper saying, "You have to accept it and let time end."
But I made a promise. I can't leave until I see her again.
I need a d6 roll from somebody, you guys' choice. We're gonna do it like this. A 1 or a 2 is Estrella, a 3 or a 4 is Amir, and a 5 and a 6 is Kinsey. So I can roll if you guys want me to, or one of you
go
can.
for it.
Okay.
Ew.
Sure.
You.
I'm the one who's causing problems.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 5.
Okay.
Go.
Desperate and refusing to let go, you're clutching this ring in your hand with, "This can't be all that's left," and the whispers to, "You have to accept it." You're yanked back into your own time. Margaret is off somewhere in the house. The kids are being kept outside in another room, asking plenty of questions and annoying the hell out of that crotchety old man Damien. As he explains, "Look, you just can't go in there right now. This is something that Kenzie and Margaret need to handle. Okay? This is for them. You need to just be patient." And soon enough, Margaret walks into the room. Desperate and worried.
What's wrong? What's wrong? I might reach out and grab her hand, and I think this Kinsey like expects to move quickly, but like remembers that right now she's supposed to be pregnant, and like slows herself down.
Right now, you actually feel very sharp pain and contractions.
Is the car starting?
Yes. Alex is getting it ready to go. We're just grabbing a few things. Damien's gonna watch the kids. We'll be on the way to the hospital soon.
Okay.
Okay? Just breathe. Breathe for me.
I don't think I can wait.
Okay, shit. Okay.
And she's looking at she's looking around to like everybody in the room, including Amir and Estrella, and is saying, I can't wait. Help.
Okay, let me help. What can I get you? What can I get you right now?
I feel hot, too hot.
Okay,
I'll get water. It's
Estrella,
fine.
goes like as Amir's going down like to get water in the bathroom that is right down the hallway. Estrella is going to round the corner of that stairwell, yell corner, even though probably nobody can hear her, and go to that linen closet to get some towels and things like that. And whatever first aid is still there.
So you guys, you're filling a basin with water. You're getting towels and at least something, rubbing alcohol peroxide, whatever is in that bottle to help.
Something.
Maybe you don't know what's going on. Just something that might help and come back. And by this point, Margaret has helped you get to a point where you're laying back on one of the beds, or I guess the only bed that's in that room, covered in dirty old blankets and sheets, but they're as clean as you could possibly get them at this point. And you are labored, breathing, and the contractions start coming sooner and sooner, and Margaret is desperately calling out to try to get somebody to bring her supplies. And all
they're here. They're here. And I feel like time like distends and bends around this moment. And like at once she's holding Margaret's hand and like clenching a fist, and we see kind of like Kinsey's like labor go by in like fast motion and slow motion and like repeated frames, like a something that's dizzying to experience even if you're not in that moment. But she's also like reaching out to Amir and to Estrella, and we get to the point at which the baby is born, and there's a lot of blood. There's so much blood, and in that moment, Kinsey looks ashen, but she like looks up to Margaret and like presses her forehead, and they're looking at their baby, and at Kinsey's baby, and Kinsey says, and looks across the room, Estrella. And then she kind of like falls back into herself and into time, and is like suspended there, breathing again.
So like a glitched record, this plays through, and you actually get these supplies, and Margaret is actually thanking you. She's acknowledging that you two are there, although she doesn't seem to process who exactly you are. She just knows that you're here to help, that you answered that call. And she is left cradling this child and the loved one that just fell, and you guys are sucked back into that moment in front of the pendulum.
Am I standing again?
You are standing again. It's almost as if in falling back, you fell back into your own body.
I am so sorry.
And Kinsey looks at Amir and like smiles and looks at Estrella and says, I'm not. And she like grabs both of your hands again.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Here, it's. Hey kids, it's time to dry off. And she like goes to dry some of the tears from underneath your eyes. And I would like to award a vestige there.
Yep. Just as our doom clock filled up, our vestiges are quickly running out.
Almost like
That means we're a positive table.
Yeah,
we're doing it.
Game work.
doing it.
We did it.
I feel like Kinsey goes and like gives Estrella a really big hug.
Yep, just big hug right back.
Cool.
And
You left a wonderful family behind.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sure they're better for having known you.
I know I was for having known them.
And I pray that happiness guides you to wherever it takes you next.
Thank you.
Of course.
We have narrowed down the rolling pool here. So, as you guys are talking and starting to come down, the pendulum rings out like a gunshot, followed by a cacophony of more bullet fire. You find yourselves running again, desperately moving through this house, down halls, searching.
She has to be somewhere. I can't go. Not yet. Not until I see her. I have to see her and then we can leave. I have to see her and then we can leave and we'll get away from here and we'll find something better than all of this. We just have to get away from here first. I have to see her first.
We can try. We can try. We can keep looking.
And I think Amir's again just like bursting through every door, just like kicking a door open, scooting down and, running through and through. And there's sort of only really one room left. And I think he almost kind of hesitates for a second, but very quickly just stumbles himself through the door, clears away any dust. And the weirdest thing is that the room is empty. It's pure white. There's the door. The hallway's still there. You can hear all the gunfire and explosions and everything. He walks through this door. It's just white and quiet. What? Where is she?
Gunshots ring out ring out again. And not just Amir, but you two as well feel pain blossoming in your chest as a red flower stains your clothes.
I never made it.
Kinsey goes to like catch the other two if they like start to fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amir's kind of stock still for a bit, but I think as you reach for him, he just kind of hits his knees.
Amir is the one that feels the true consequence of this. You all feel the pain from a chain reaction. And what would have been a moment, you see someone else standing in the hall, holding the rifle that they just fired. It calls back to a group somewhere off. And got another one. This room's clear.
No,
And moves on.
no, that's not fair. No, that's not fair. Kinsey got a family. She got to see her end and be happy, and that's the only thing I wanted. I was supposed to find her, and we were supposed to get away and be happy and find something better than all of this fighting. All I've done is fight.
And Kinsey is going to like kneel behind him and like wrap him and lean him back.
I promised her I would be here. I promised her I wouldn't leave until I saw her.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't supposed to die like this.
You didn't deserve it.
Like a fucking dog.
At least we know you're so much more than that.
You're a man of honor, Amir. You're true to your word. She was lucky to have known you.
Lucky to have been changed by her. They took everything from me. My brother, my home, my life. What do I get to take with me?
You get to take friends. You don't have to walk alone anymore.
I'm glad I don't have to be alone. I'm so scared.
Okay to be scared. We are too.
I'm ready to go now if I have to.
And as that cold numbness as the red flower continues to blossom below all of you, you slowly become cold. There's no more pain. There's just almost a hollowness, like a part of you is missing. and silence that's slowly filled with the sound of a familiar tune, and this white room from that red blossom below you starts to spread. Now there's hardwood with a noticeable stain below where you are. It creeps up the walls across old furniture covered in cloth, and a breeze through the window, carrying in that melody. I don't want to miss a thing.
I guess it's my time.
Be right here, okay?
I was supposed to make it for my brother and I. He was the only one that believed I could dance when no one else could. We only had each other, and then I lost him right before school.
I'm so sorry.
We're supposed to get through everything together.
I'm so proud of you.
Incredible fighter. To keep going through all of that.
Go on.
I know what I have to do. And as the refrain of the song starts, she walks in time to the balcony and just goes through each of the steps as if she's done it 1,000 times over. And something happens with the radio for a second. And even though it looks like such an accident, when she goes to fix the radio and it slips off and she catches and leans too far into the railing of the balcony, she still looks like she's going through the motions of the dance as if that's happened 1,000 times, even though it only happened once. And she takes the dive. She falls, and as soon as she hits the ground, there's just silence. There's no melody anymore. It's when the beat just completely stops. And when she returns to the group, you see just wherever there's a source of light, wherever it's coming from, it's almost exaggerated where her shadow is supposed to be, almost as if it's a rounded car headlight exaggerating her shadow.
You fall forward over this balcony, reaching a bit too far, and fall into yourself, collapsing on the floor with Amir and Kinsey, the light illuminating that hunched over, sobbing figure behind you with the headlight and even a spotlight that never happened. And you find yourselves back in the room that with that floor stain was noticeable holes in the wall that still need to be patched, and the sound of children and parents talking off in the distance. You three are here, almost back where you started, but it's not the same. It never really was the same.
It helps, Estrella. I think you're a wonderful dancer.
Thank you.
I guess that means it's time for us to go, yes?
I think so.
Not alone.
Not alone.
Not anymore.
And as a collective, hand in hand, supporting one another, you all get to your feet and start moving. Once again, feeling compelled by that ticking. Although now it's slower. And it seems like with each step forward, it gets more drawn out. You pass by this family and some workers. Almost, as you walk through them, it seems like they almost start to come to a crawl in their movements. Time is coming to an end, and you find yourselves, as these people are still moving around you, as these faceless figures of Nancy and Lady Belmont in front of the pendulum clock. They're the only ones that still seem to be moving, as the loyal lady-in-waiting fixes her charge's hair over and over again, trying to get that perfect curl. You're back in front of that pendulum, and it grinds to a halt. And outside of them, everything is still and silent. As a note for our chat at this point, we are reaching what is referred to as the last stop in Locomotive. All of our players have accumulated at least one vestige, 2 or 3, actually 3 at this point for all of them. And we'll just say that that last one is a collective for all of you for that last scene.
Actually, can we get that last one to you for that last scene, please?
Yeah.
How about that?
No.
All right, well,
Excuse.
we're all voting this, so
This is a
sorry.
democracy,
Sorry.
damn it.
Shit.
You've been out. You already
You've
told us
been
it was democracy,
overruled.
so we all voted you. Sorry.
Ah, 3-1.
God damn it. Alright.
Steps to rule.
Not my
There it
players
is.
making me cry on stream, but... And to continue that explanation, everybody has accumulated at least one vestige, which means they all have access to the last stop. And in this case, the last stop is pretty much what it says. It's... Oh, god damn it. Not my computer being stupid again. There we go.
No.
Fixed.
You, at this point, the last stop is really about closure. And typically speaking, it's a person. So as you guys come to this pendulum clock that's frozen in time, it seems to actually fade away. And let's play with that D6 roll again and see who goes first. Kinsey, you hear what sounds like a child and a familiar loved one laughing and playing. And you're welcome to correct me if I am wrong, but I imagine that's kind of where it would have ended up for you.
Yeah.
As balcony doors open, you can see the wind rustling through the curtains. It's bright, and it's Margaret that you see with a little girl. She's got your hair and, of course, Margaret's big brown eyes that you fell in love with so many years ago. At this point, they're waiting for you, just playing out on this lawn.
Kinsey will walk forward and look at the little girl. And kind of pop down to her knees and spread her arms really wide.
With a big grin, she jumps into your arms and says, "We missed you, Mom. Where did you go?"
I had some people who helped me. I got lost for a little while. Do you know how much I love you? To the moon and back. And she holds this kid close, probably only for the second time, and smells her hair and rubs the fabric of her clothes between her fingers. And she looks over at Margaret and just mouths, "I love you."
She, with a big smile, mouths, "I love you too," and crouches down with you to wrap you both in a big hug, and subsequently pretending to stifle Estrella, earning a giggle that erupts between the two of you. And at this point, you are welcome to take the scene where you see fit and come to a close.
I think after like a long moment, all right, enough of that. You, and she looks towards the child and says, "You owe me a long game of croquet set up all around the house. Do you know where the croquet set is?" And the kid, Estrella, nods gleefully and runs off towards a shed. And Margaret and Kinsey follow hand in hand around the corner, and the scene ends.
Is there anything passing that you would like to say to Estrella and Amir before you leave entirely?
I don't know if any of this is real or if they're who they are to me, but I would not have gotten here without you. I hope you find everything you're looking for. And she'll put her like hand on the cheek of each of them and kind of like run her finger along like the blade of their cheek. I hope it's as wonderful as this was for me.
Whether it's real or not, you deserve it.
I would have liked to meet her. She sounds like she meant the world to you.
I'll tell you the story someday. I'm sure I'll see you again.
And she holds out her pinky. And she doesn't know if that means anything to him.
He's not sure, but he'll take it anyway.
She
Gotta do great
rounds
out
the
there.
corner, and she's gone.
Corner.
The patio doors close and the breeze stops, only for another door to open. Beyond it is that room that you couldn't quite get to, Amir. And inside, there's a woman waiting, hiding.
This is where it ended, huh? I was so close.
She,
I'm scared. I want to see her, but I don't know what to say.
You'll know as soon as you see her. I just know it. She's gonna be right there. Just you have to go forward. The only way out is through. And you're gonna do great. And I just kind of like the whole like arm around the shoulder, just like trying to comfort him.
He'll like lean his head over a bit into her embrace. Just thank you. Okay. Here goes. He'll just slowly make his way over towards, where she's hiding. Are you there? It's me.
she perks up and stands up as soon as she hears your voice, and hesitantly, because it's muffled, like you can barely hear it, but still it's a present ring that you never could quite get rid of in the back of your head. But she gets up and runs to you and throws her arms around you and says, "Thank God, I was so worried that you wouldn't make it."
I'll never be anywhere else. I'll always be there when you call me. No matter what. Are you safe?
I'm safe, and don't worry, we'll be safe too. I found this. Look here, and she pulls you over to a closet that she pulls open and then pushes on the back panel, and you can see what looks like a space between the walls and a set of very narrow stairs. I found this. We can get out. We can leave.
We can finally go. I think Amir will bring his hands up to the sides of her head and rather awkwardly just cuff both of her ears really tightly, just for a few moments, and then let go and just say, I wanted you to imagine what it's like to not hear the bullets every now and then. Promise me when we get out of here, we'll find somewhere safe, where there's no more guns. Promise me we'll go somewhere you can be happy.
We'll go somewhere that we can both be happy, that we don't have to remember this anymore. We'll settle down. We'll have a nice house out in the country. We'll have our child, Amir.
There's nothing more I could want in the world. It's the perfect kind of ending. It's a shame I never got it.
You'll
I
have
don't
it
know.
now.
You look even more beautiful than I remember. Take me away from all this. Please.
I would love nothing more. And she takes your hand, and unless you have something else that you would like to remark to Estrella or in the scene beforehand.
Thank you for helping me find my way.
Of course. Thank you for helping me find mine despite being so stubborn the entire way.
I can't blame you for that. I don't know what comes next for either of us. But if there's anywhere amongst all the stars in the cosmos for us, let's find time to talk again. It was wonderful to meet you.
And you. I like that.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'm owed a life. You take care now, Estrella.
I'll try my best.
Then, yeah, he'll turn and embrace the woman and make his way.
She returns the hug and takes your hand, and you two descend down these hidden steps and away from this house into what could only be the ending that you ever wanted. The door shuts, and Estrella, you hear that same song, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and push past heavy red curtains. You're almost blinded by the light that's in front of you. And you can hear a laugh from in front of you. In dark, what's almost an alcove. Come on now, don't tell me you forgot the steps already, sis.
Michael? And she looks around. As soon as she finds him, she just darts over and gives him a hug. I mean, it's uncharacteristic, but she doesn't even care at this point. And kind of lets him go, lets him breathe for after a brief bit.
Jeez, we've only been separated for a couple of minutes so you could go do your costume change.
I'm just you know how I get when I'm really nervous about performances, but
Yeah,
I'm just happy to see you.
Yeah, you always kind of were a big crybaby.
Shut up. I'll like kind of give him like kind of a punch to the shoulder. And yeah, just kind of flatten back out the jacket, and then just kind of like out of muscle memory, just kind of trace over this scar over his eyebrow that he got from protecting her in the second home that they were in. I just love you, bro.
You know, reason I tell you not to do this song is because you keep getting so damn emotional.
It's really good. It's really good though. You can't tell me it's not.
It's a good song, but you keep ruining your makeup. You've ruined smudges some of that eyeliner that is now kind of tear streaking. Jeez, I love you, sis, but sometimes.
I'm not sorry for it.
Oh, yeah, of course you're not. Become a big dancing star and suddenly you don't have to care.
Hey, I'm never gonna apologize for caring, and you shouldn't either.
Uh-huh. Are you gonna get back up there and dance? Come on. Your premiere's tonight.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best.
Don't worry. I'm right here. I'll be right here in this front row seat every time you perform.
Yeah.
Now come on, we only have the stage for like another half hour.
And yeah, she'll give him another hug and keep on going out into that spotlight. That's it. And surprisingly, the performance doesn't start, or this performance doesn't start at the beginning of the song. It seems to pick up exactly in the song where it cut off when she fell.
And you pick up that beat and go through these motions flawlessly, and after the performance is done, you hear the thunderous echo of applause from a full audience, but somehow you can always pick out Michael's, as he is standing up and clapping the loudest, and if it weren't for the fact he's almost gotten kicked out a couple of times for it, he would be cheering. Doesn't stop him from doing it, though. And out in the distance, you pick out a couple of more faces. A few more, actually. You find Amir. Again, you can pick out his clapping and his face. And standing beside him is a woman you hadn't seen, but there's a glow to her, and she's got a little one on her hip, basically miming that the child is clapping along to. And they're all in the front row, right alongside Michael. That's probably why they were so easy to pick out, but you feel like you would know them anywhere. To the other side of him was Kinsey, standing and clapping and probably cheering right along with your brother, with little Estrella in the chair next to her, and between her and Margaret, they both lift Estrella up so that She's sitting on their shoulders and clapping along with her.
And Shreya will give them just as much as a beaming smile as she did to Michael as well.
And like any great performance, eventually the lights do dim. Eventually the applause dies out and everything is quiet. And in this moment, you three are standing again together. You have the weight of what happened to you, but you have the glow of living that life that you didn't get to have.
Raina was her name. I remember it now. And you, such a marvelous dancer you truly are.
Worked hard for it.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
he knew that too.
Lucky to have known you both.
Thank you both for guiding me.
Thank you for believing in me.
I will carry you to
Second chance.
wherever I go from here. I'm better for having known you two.
I think I'm ready to close my eyes.
Yeah. I think we've seen it all, huh?
Didn't miss a thing.
Roll credits.
Fucking roll the goddamn credit. Roll the clip. God damn it.
I'm changing the title for the YouTube description.
Ah!
But as you guys have quietly made peace with one another and with yourselves, you hear and feel once more that reverberating echo of the pendulum in your chest before everything fades and you've returned to whence you came. That peace. And unless my players would have like to add some passing comments, that's
Oh,
the
perfect.
curtain drop.
Yep.
God
my
damn,
God.
that was intense.
All right, gonna stop showing stream my dick now. Anyway, great job.
All right, so
Yeah, the record still shows I have not gone through a single game of Locomotive without crying, and I don't think that's ever gonna change.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting till we get off stream so I can sob. I'm like, I'm directly holding it back.
all
so
right,
I'm-
but how mad are you gonna be if we do a decompression on screen though?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should.
But I don't want to sob. Come on, guys.
Too bad.
Damn it! I have street
kidding.
cred to
All
hold
right,
up.
Hex
Oh my
cried on
God.
stream. I cried on stream. Listen, we're
I've
all
only
crying
cried
together.
after stream so far.
It's right.
Okay.
So I know that was a lot
Yeah.
to process.
Yeah.
And for the record, chat, my players did know coming into this what the ending was going to be and the story. But credit to them, they fucking blew it out of the water with bringing this all together. And all the tie-ins and everything. Like,
I mean,
steps.
it was a really easy dynamic. I mean, I've played with you both before in various capacities, but also just like am very comfortable with all three of you, like as friends. So the dynamic was really natural, you know, even in moments of like genuine fear or sadness, I never felt uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it just kind of boils down to like the table feeling really comfortable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really appreciated how balanced the table felt. I know Meg was the GM, but like it really felt like we all gave the turnstile a push, you know,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
to
Like,
keep things moving.
yeah, we had the talking stick and we passed it around. So one person running through the
one
plot
mic.
with the talking stick. Um, and yeah, like again, just hats off to everybody. Like that was so good. I think like we didn't ever like take away from moments. We always added. It's
Yeah.
always the action of adding to something instead of just going in a different direction. We were always going in the same direction, just like laying down different tracks, pretty much.
It's a TTRPG in its purest form. It's everyone is moving themselves toward like the goal was in mind already. We all knew what the setup was. The end goal was like, how do we get there? And because we all knew that, there was never a question of like, oh, we have to go this way or we have to go that way. It was just, oh, you're taking this lead to go here. Cool, I'm following you up. Like you're going here. Cool, I'm following you up. Like, you know. And I think like, again, part of that was just table dynamic and comfort, but another part of it just came to like story dynamic. You know, because there was never a sense of like that we could make the wrong move. Like it always felt like anything we did would lead to some like growth in the story. So it never like I never felt powerless, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's also fun that we had a whole set of mechanics prepared for stuff that we just
Oh
didn't
yeah,
even touch.
it's fine.
Imagine using
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, imagine using the dice pool.
Whoa.
Imagine
I-
playing a game with rules.
I
Imagine not just
actually-
being pretend people with your friends. Come on.
I actually did have some encounters planned, like different things that would have brought that into play, or it would have been sort of a pseudo combat, but it was more wrestling with yourselves and facing a tangible variant of like the faceless women. Those were supposed to be things that came up, but I very much liked how the story played out. So, apologies to Adam if you watch this ever and realize that we only ever use the clocks for our own purposes, but
Sorry for breaking your game.
Oops.
My bad. I have a habit
It's
of
like,
doing that.
listen,
Don't take it
listen, but-
personally.
Yeah,
I break a lot of games.
Instead, our enemy was our denial.
Yeah, it's
And not
we
wanting
just
to
had
accept that we
feelings.
were
We didn't play
dead.
the game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I will say, going through the character creator for Enter the Survival Horror, even if we didn't use that, that was a really good exercise, I think, for
Oh,
figuring out.
absolutely.
I mean,
I feel like we all kind of
definitely
lensed
agree.
our characters around what we like, kind of like rolled and developed like from the character creators like that. I mean, it did
Yeah.
play a lot of emphasis on the story that was told, even if it wasn't like mechanically, you know, like
Yeah, it was like just
felt
like the use
alive
of
to it.
the adjectives, for example, the traits. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you can draw a lot of how your character is gonna act based on that.
Exactly.
And coming up with almost like a key thing that's important to you that ended up tying into the story was exceedingly pertinent. Again, I was also a fan of the clock mechanics, as you saw, because I incorporated them. But, and I really actually did. You guys saw how the spreadsheet was set up. There's some fantastic tools that came with Memento, with Enter the Survival Horror. A lot of safety tools that were a great reference point for all of us. And maybe at some point we'll be able to run something that's just purely that. But I think for this, it worked well, even for just the character creation.
Yeah, definitely. It helped to like make sure that like for a game like this, where obviously we're all touching some pretty raw subject matter, you know, it helped to like know that there was never a fear of anyone's lines being crossed, like because they had all been laid out pretty bare ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
And as long as we were aware of those and weren't ignorant of them, and like again, that going back to table comfort, I trust you all to not be like ignorant or like rude with anyone else's lines. So like, as long as I knew I wasn't doing that, I figured like it was just totally comfortable to do whatever you wanted because you knew like, all right, I'm not tripping anyone's lines, no one's tripping my lines. We can just fully delve into any scene, anything that comes up, you can just fully delve into without worrying about hurting anybody, you know? And like that kind of just made it a really, really like enjoyable experience overall, you know, without having to worry about like how people were feeling in the moment. You could just let people feel, which was like really nice. I felt like, you know.
Yeah, I fucking loved how raw and emotional you guys got. Even if it meant crying on stream, but you were willing to do that and go for it. So
Yeah. Like, yeah, I cried this time, but like, oh my god, am I solo play on stream? Like, you can still find the VOD. It's on my personal channel. Like, I fucking lost it. Like, it touched on, like, I think probably my most emotional question in the entire game, Locomotive, which is, you know, what is your favorite memory? That can be just a very, very powerful question.
Yeah.
And I got that on stream in my solo play. I was like, okay, yep, I'm just gonna bawl in front of like 20 people. It's fine.
Hey, listen.
Here we go.
Like sometimes you gotta be like that. No, but like again, like not to be a broken fucking record, but I never felt uncomfortable about being emotional or even like crying here, like because you know, you're all my friends. Like in the same way that like our characters were kind of like working each other through, like, hey, like I don't know what the fuck is going on or what you're dealing with, but I got you. Like, kind of felt like a really solid mirror of like the way I feel like a lot of you have been there for me in certain moments where it's like a lot of you guys don't know everything we all go through individually, but like there's never a day where I can't just be like, hey Meg, hey Heck, hey Vermin, I'm having a really fucking shit day, like can we just talk for a bit? And like I've never had you all fail to step up or just be there for me if you needed me, you know? And so playing that out as a dynamic at a table in like the most rawest sense, it just felt like a reification of our existing friendship dynamics, you know, which I think is part of what made this so emotional. Is like, while I'm feeling these like gut-wrenching emotions and I'm feeling myself like come apart, I'm recognizing that I'm doing it in the company of people who love and care about me, which is like, I don't know, it's just a really powerful thing, you know, like to experience those things around people who you know are gonna uphold you and are gonna ensure you're taken care of. And I'm gonna stop before I start talking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as soon as I saw this group DM get put together, I was just like, oh hell yeah. It's like, and it would have been the exact same with Rowan too.
No questions. Yeah,
like
no
would have
questions.
been the exact same.
Big ups to Rowan for taking care of himself and like knowing when to step back, because this was,
which is, I think,
a
some
lot.
of the most brave things a person can do, like to be like, hey, I know we have a lot going on today, but I'm just not in the right mental space and I can't do this. So again, huge big ups to Rowan for like recognizing that. Like, not a problem at all good.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that you should be able to do even at your weekly game, folks. You should be able to say, I can't do the heavy stuff today.
And
that's fine.
Yeah. Thanks for the heavy stuff, folks. Appreciate it.
Right back at you.
Saying something to like being able to come apart. Thanks for letting me give birth to somebody on stream.
Yeah, super wasn't prepared for that. Didn't know that was going to be a thing. But again,
did you not like read the spoilers? I kind of did.
Well, no, I didn't, because I was like, I'm gonna go for full authenticity and just going in raw here.
Not know what's going on
I thought
at
you were
all.
just playing into that trope of like, you know, man.
Oh no, I was just like, oh fuck, what are we doing? But even in that, like, I was never worried about it, because I know that like anything involving like children or birth or childbirth or child like death or injury or any of that can be like super red flags for a lot of people around a lot of different groups. So like even in that moment, I never felt any worry because I knew that one, any lines that I had around that had been discussed, and two, I figured if any of them had or like would have had a problem with anything related to this, it would have been voiced. So this is clearly an already expressed okay line to cross. So because there was no vagueness, no question, no concern, I could just delve into that scene, even with my confusion and discomfort, and not be worried. Like, and again, like that just boils down to having a really good group, and like props to having a GM who like from like moment one was like priority one is safety tools. Like before we do anything else, we lay out like what we're doing, what we can and can't do here, and like that's I think probably the most important thing a GM can do is just to be like, yo, like before I care about this game or whatever, I'm going to care about the people who are here, you know? So like super huge props to you, Meg, for doing that like every step of the way. Like before game, during game, and even now after game, like super props to you for that.
I want to shout out something that got said in the chat a couple minutes ago. Kitsune says, yes, televised therapy. And like, good joke. One, funny.
One, great joke. Second,
I think one of the things about, and this is again getting back to some things that have already been said, but like TTRPGs create this really safe space to explore like whatever big feelings you're having around anything. And there's like good advice out there for like if you're going to be tackling things that are like close to your heart, taking care of yourself. Maria Maison specifically has a whole little like zine about like how to make your role play like functionally therapeutic, and I really like that zine. But like this is with this safe space being so safe, it's a wonderful place to practice feelings and practice that like vulnerability in front of other people. So like thanks for creating that space, everyone.
So we have been talking a lot. Was there... Well, I guess first off, does chat have any questions or things that they want to talk about in regards to it? And as a note, I just posted the links to both Enter the Survival Horror if you guys want to look at the actual mechanics for that game, as well as Locomotive, both of those itch pages. So I definitely say go look at them. But if there's anything else you guys want to comment on in chat, or anything that really sticks out for you guys.
I just want to say that if we were in person right now, I'd be group hugging you all. Real biggest hugs would be given out at this moment. Just if you know, just saying, real big speeches would be going around right now. Nah, this is great. You know, long week, real long week of teaching. So, I mean, to kind of like, it's almost just like to kind of vent out all the emotional weight of like a week in just like that quick like 3-hour jaunt is a weird kind of cathartic, and I appreciate that I could do that with like people who I consider like very, very close friends, you know?
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Y'all great.
Like, oh man, I'm just like over the moon and the stars and everything else about like it worked. It worked, you guys. We passed out messages.
You did it good.
Fucking
I'm
worked.
so proud of you. It's almost like the thing I said a while ago about how you do good things and should be rewarded for doing good things is like true, and not like me lying or something. Wild, right?
Why? Yeah.
Fucking crazy how that happens. It's almost like I say things to you that are honest because I care about you and wouldn't lie to you. It's crazy how that happens.
Locomotive Kickstarter when?
What?
Listen, I'm just
Oh
saying.
god, more materials. Like I don't know about that. We'll see. Just because this original definitely holds a close place to my heart. I definitely said this on my personal stream running through this, but and just various threads and stuff. But I'll reiterate here for anyone new to chat or anything. But this first version is absolutely going to be the closest to my heart always, because it is based on a dream that I had months ago at this point. I don't even remember. I think a month or two before I released this game, where, yeah, I was in this train going to different points in time and space. And the last place that I remember being was actually in the train, but seeing a very close family friend that had passed away my senior year of high school. And like I don't know where this came from in my dream. Like I think I had some type of like out of body experience, not gonna lie. Because yeah, it just felt super real. And just that experience of like being able to see him again, for that to feel as real as it did, like I need to make something like that other people can experience something like this. So I played with so many like different ideas of like throwing around mechanics, and like no hard mechanics feel right for this. It should very much be based on, if it's a group, a very collaborative experience with, you know, rewarding each other for feelings and being vulnerable, and not like hard dice rolls outside of like, okay, just determine where and when you are. If you want to, you don't even have to do that. You can just go where you want. It's just a bunch of prompts and whatnot, just all in the book to kind of get you thinking about where and when you are. So yeah, it's always going to be super duper close to my heart. So like, I don't know, we'll see if I write anything else, but it feels complete.
I get that. Word. It's a good game, honestly. I think it's a really good game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you could get the money to pay for formatting and get a print version, and that would be pretty
Yeah?
neat.
Oh, that'd be pretty neat.
Saying, it's a thought.
But if you guys do end up wanting to check out Heck's solo playthrough, that's their Twitch account. So you can go on there. The VOD should still be up, so you can
Somewhere.
cry with them and us. So
Oh God.
Gotta cry.
but any else passing thoughts, or do we want to go ahead and do outros?
I'm fine with closing us out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, do I start first?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Overlay
Okay,
order,
guys.
man.
Okay, hey guys, it's me, SirHeckaLot. You know, you can find me on all the social medias at SirHeckaLot, including the Twitch that just got linked in chat. I don't really stream that often on my personal channel, but when I do, it's a great time. We have a lot of fun over there. I love chat so much.
We love
But
you.
yeah. Other than that, I have an itch page, which is also in chat somewhere. If not, that's where you can find Locomotive, as well as my game jam stuff. I've made some stuff for Corvid Court, which is pretty fun. It's fun stuff to check out. Where you'll see me next, this is stream 2 of my 4-stream extravaganza. I'm going to be over at Neon Lights Roleplay tomorrow with Seven Sons, playing some good old D&D 5e. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, and then on Sunday, I'm going to be back over here playing The Zone, which is purely improv game for the most part. That's going to be led by Proper Nerdy, and I am so excited for it. It's going to be real cool. But then, if you think you're going to not see my face for a while, that's a lie, because for the next 2 weeks after that, I'm going to be in at least 2 streams, maybe 3. So just be ready. Just be ready. I am here. It's Heck Month, maybe. Who knows? But I am going to stop talking and let Foxy talk now.
No, please talk more. It's okay.
Well,
Anywho,
that's it. That's all I got.
that's fair. Well, what's up? If you hadn't heard, I'm Foxy. aka Big Foxy, also known as your current and only favorite fox. I can be found on the old Twitter sphere at BIG_FOXXII. I dunk on right wingers. I slay fascists. It's a good time. Check it out. Beyond that, as mentioned, the next place you'll see me at is also tomorrow over on Neon Lights Roleplay, as I am GMing the Seven Sons. And I have had done so much prep for this eagerly important session we're going to have tomorrow that I've done a lot of prep for. So be ready for all the prep that I did for the stream tomorrow that I prepped for. But besides me not being prepared for my games, much more importantly, after that, Sunday, I am back on Neon Lights Roleplay again at 2 p.m. Please don't miss it for the final session, the grand finale of our flagship campaign, Neon Night City Lights. Our Cyberpunk Red campaign comes to an end. The vote for mayor of South Night City comes to an end. Fox either makes it or gets gunned down in the street. We'll find out Sunday. So yeah, come hang out, watch that. Otherwise, I'm over on Critical Misses sometimes for Forest and Flame. I'm here on TPK Roleplay for Cold Hands, Warm Hearts. And I do other stuff sometimes because I feel like it. Take it away, Vermin.
You got it. I'm Legendary Vermin. You can find me as Legendary Vermin on all the places on the internet that matter. That's Itch, Twitch, and of course Twitter. I played a sad lady, and I was a sad lady, but in a nice way. You can catch me around here a few more times this month. We have the third episode of Madness Calls It Forth on Monday, October 18th. And then we have, what is that? On the 27th, we have the second episode of Hubris of Man. I play, my wife likes to say I play a lot of headstrong women, and those two characters are no exceptions. And you can also find me making games out on the internet. I have just recently released my first bound published game from my own Kickstarter. It's called Alley Oop. It's a game of fantastical basketball in a kind of blasball style. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. It's no GM. It's really easy. And if you have a big bag of dice at your house, it's really easy to play. With that, Meg, take us out.
Hello everybody, I am Meg Mysteria, and I have been your game master / game mother / conductor, however you wish to refer to me.
Mom.
Ghoul Mommy,
That was
what's
none
up?
of the- that was,
Ghoul Mommy, what's
no,
up?
not again. Not again. The
Throwback to yesterday's
stream
TPK jam.
Well, Daddy?
I don't.
What have I unleashed? I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Like I said, however you choose to refer to me as long as it's not disrespectful, I don't care. But you guys can find me at Meg Mysteria here on Twitch, on Twitter, hang out in the Discord both for TPK Roleplay and Neon Lights. As far as what I've got going on, I believe we're doing another off-screen session for Core Hearts on the 9th.
Next Saturday.
But tomorrow, I should start that off first. I'm ending my 4-day streak with a special Top Shelf episode taking place at, I believe, 1 p.m. EST time, so a little bit earlier than normal, playing Orbital Blues. We've got a couple of the creators on cast for us tomorrow.
Ooh.
So I haven't made my character yet, so wish me luck. But after that, we see the return of Henshin in a couple of weeks. We'll be kicking that off. There's also Stargate.
Hey, I'm in that.
Oh yeah, you are in that. You're with me too.
I forgot.
Get ready for the chaos energy. But
Oh, yeah.
But there's also Stargate Phoenix, and of course a couple of other one-shots like Pangolin Prom. There's Monsters in Their Closet, as well as towards the end of the month, like Vermin said, we're coming back around for our next Hubris of Man installment, where my players may find out some consequences of their actions.
Oh no, consequences.
Nah. Ah.
But
Not the consequences of their own actions. Oh no.
There's
The
none.
player's worst
There's none. We
enemies.
played
Yeah.
perfectly. The only consequences are good consequences.
If you guys want to take a look at all the great content we've got going on, you can take a look on our schedule on the website. We've got something literally every day this month. Sometimes we have 2 things every day this month. So you're not going to see
So much content.
Yeah, you're not going to see a shortage of us anywhere. But if that's that, I think we are closing the curtain for the night. So everybody say bye.
Deuces.
Thanks for sticking around.
Be safe out there in the streets.